The National Youth Games actually began today, and over 5,000 athletes from 29 states were present at the opening ceremony in Asaba, Delta State today. Before the opening ceremony, the Delta State Governor, Honorable Sheriff Oborevwori, inspected the facilities at the Stephen Keshi Stadium, Asaba, the state capital, which is the main venue for the games. He assured the state was ready to host the games, and the governor, who inspected the swimming pool, the shooting range, and other facilities at the indoor sports hall, was conducted around by the chairman of the Local Organising Committee, Chief Solomon Ogba, and top officials of the State Sports Commission. Meanwhile, Imo State athletes who are bound for originally supposed to be at the 8th National Youth Games are reportedly stranded at the Dan Anyiam Stadium in Owerri, awaiting funds from the state government to travel to the ongoing youth games. And these are pictures that were shared on social media today. Horrendous conditions. That's one of the athletes there. He's drinking Gary. According to him, he's been starving. He hasn't had anything to eat. And some of the conditions that these athletes have been put in are less than stellar. I really don't know what to say, ladies and gentlemen, but this is deplorable, absolutely deplorable. It must be said. Putting young athletes in these cramped conditions. They have mattresses on the floor, not even bunk beds. And this is a competition that was ordinary, should have been in the calendar for any well-run state sports. I don't know, Ministry of Sports or Sports Commission, but I'm shocked at these conditions. This is not what we want to see. Not what we want to see. A big disgrace for the Commissioner for Youth and Sports from Imo State. I'm going to blame him because the truth is this particular National Youth Games have been given to Delta for 4 years. Yeah. So the plan should have been in running from the last day. Just to clear this up, Delta State has been given the hosting right for the next 4 years. 4 years, yes. So they cannot claim ignorance about when. That's what I'm saying. Or where. Okay. That's what I'm saying. So we should blame the Commissioner for Youth and Sport from Imo State for not even preparing or making plans for these children. These children are supposed to be in school. If they're not going to make it to the game, then they should go back to school and not be treated that way. So we need a lot of answers from questions that we are asking right now, especially from the Commissioner of Youth and Sports from Imo State. Wale, I don't know about you, but I don't know why you guys are feeling shock. No. Shocked? I'm not shocked. I'm not feeling shocked. I'm not shocked. We should work. I'm disappointed. We should get to work. We see this every time. This is only coming to the public glare because it's on television. We see this every time. This happens all the time. It happens every time. All the time. I'm not shocked. It's just once again brings to the fore why, we, in terms of developing proper athletes, we are lagging behind. Not even just the athlete development. This is the nascent stage of an athlete in terms of his or her development. Even nutrition is part of it. Nutrition. So if you are preparing athletes to go and represent you and you are giving them Gary, why can't them? That is, like I said, it speaks to the fact that we don't realize that even the tiniest things as nutrition also play a huge part. That even just putting them in good environments. Exactly. So I am not shocked. It's a shame that this has just come to the public glare, and the Nigerian child deserves better than this. See, indeed. Let's even forget about sports here. The Nigerian child deserves better than this. And I can say here that our administrators are wicked people. Of course, no. They don't care. That commissioner you've talked about is probably chilling, he has even probably watching us right now. To answer. No, the commissioner is probably watching us right now if possible. And these kids are wallowing in those conditions. So that's wickedness. Well, one person is watching us right now and is actually joining us right now all the way from Asaba. Tobi Ajewole is a good friend of mine and he's also a reporter with BCOS TV. He's live in Asaba and he witnessed the opening ceremony today. Tobi, thank you for joining us tonight on Game On. It's an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. It's good to see you again, my friend. Well, the opening ceremony was held today. First and foremost, please tell us that, like last time, we did not have any athletes who are parading in bathroom slippers and in mismatch attire. Please tell us that.
Yes, on top of the day to you, Babatunde Koiki, and yes, a good evening to the rest of the crew. First things first, it was a rain-soaked opening ceremony here at the Stephen Keshi Stadium. I'm still at the media center of the Stephen Keshi Stadium. It was rain-soaked, almost reminiscent of what happened last year also here at the Stephen Keshi Stadium. Well, for the records, there was no team that was on bedroom slippers at least
Thank
this
you,
year.
God.
I'm sure Ekiti State, they have actually learned from the, should I say, not too TV friendly images that was beamed from Delta State. That was last year at the 7th edition of the Youth Games. But yes, this year's edition was colorful from the pictures being relayed on from your TV station right there. Rain-soaked also like the way it was last year. The executive governor of Delta State, His Excellency Sheriff Oborevwori, was also on ground. And yes, the Minister for Sport Development, Senator John Owen, and on behalf of the President, was here to declare the games are open right there. So yes, a whole lot to unpack right there after the 8th edition's opening ceremony.
Okay, well, Wale?
Yeah, Ajewole, I wanted to ask, I mean, you know, you've got a first-hand view of what's happening in Asaba, and I wanted to ask you, what should we be expecting? Are there any, you know, unique talents that you have identified, or, I mean, what else? I mean, I hear that there's also going to be shooting.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean,
boxing as well.
So what are the other interesting things we should be looking out for in this National Youth Games in Asaba?
Well, definitely a whole lot to look out for, because you know it's more or less, not to sound like a broken record. We talk about the array of youthful population that we have, and yes, talents that abound at plenty that can be channeled into sports. And yes, the youths are there to showcase their talent, to showcase their craft. Well, 29 states, I must add, are actually right here in Delta State for the games, and yes, 5,776 athletes that will participate in various sporting events right there. So yes, from table tennis that started to the para table tennis. In fact, we already have medals won in the para table tennis events right there. Weightlifting also on the cards for medals to be won in various weight class divisions right there. So a whole lot to definitely talk about that is all the states that will be hoping to win. Well, Delta State, as they did last year, they said they want to host and win. And yes, when you talk about sports generally in Nigeria, Delta State, a powerhouse for sporting activities. And yes, they have already laid their intent to definitely host and win.
Well, they've thrown out the gauntlet to everyone. The first 2 gold medals from the competition has gone to Delta State. But finally, Tobi, before we let you go, you know, in this competition, the issues of age cheating has always been a major issue in casting a dark shadow over the competition. We do hear that, thankfully, the organizers have found interesting ways of weeding out these age cheats, and the NIN, that's the National Identification Number, has proven particularly useful, and it has actually decimated quite a lot of athletes who are planning to participate, but were way beyond the 15-year age limit. Could you tell us a bit more about that? Hello, Tobi. I think I seem to have lost him.
Yeah, I lost you for a moment.
Yeah, okay. So while sorry, Tobi, I was asking you that age cheating is a big problem in this competition over the past few editions. But we hear that the organizers have used the NIN, that's the National Identification Number, as a key tool for weeding out a lot of overage athletes. Can you tell us a bit more about that and how the organizers have tried to keep age cheating to a minimum?
All right. Yes. The National Youth Games. It's more or less a multi-sporting event that are open for athletes below the age of 15. And yes, just as you know, some individuals, just because they might want to win at all costs, might decide to go a little bit overboard. And yes, as of the last edition, that was the 7th edition, it was unanimously agreed by the state and even the organizers are also in conjunction with the Federal Ministry of Sport that the NIN will be the document that will be used in screening athletes into various sporting events. However, yesterday and today was for the screening. Yesterday, the screening process for the state started. The screening process was completed today ahead of the opening ceremony, which took place at 1 p.m. Nigerian time. But when I interfered with some contingents from several states, there was a common denominator of what they said. They said whilst it was agreed that the NIN would be used as the major screening tool that has been attached to the various biodata of the athletes participating at these games, that at some point it was jettisoned and facial features were now being used to screen some athletes. And yes, that's true. A whole lot of controversy.
Wait, sorry, Tobi. I just need you to clarify. You are telling me that the organizers or the screening team were using facial identification, just looking at physical features.
So maybe there was AI involved.
With words, their own physical eyes.
At some points, for several sports, I can give you example of what happened at the athletics screening event. I was able to meet up with one of the coaches for Team Oyo now, to be more specific, to give you a hard fact. I was able to speak with one of the coaches for Team Oyo. He said that 5 of their athletes were screened out, even when they had their NINs that showed that they were below the ages of 15, but yet they were screened out because some of the officials decided to go with screening these athletes with their facial features. So they told me as of yesterday that they had lodged their appeal, but as of the time of me speaking with you right now, I've not been able to get a feedback from them about the fate of the appeal that they lodged as of yesterday, if they were able to pass this athlete.
Okay, we'll be speaking to Tobi Ajewole, a good friend of ours, and also a reporter with BCS TV, who's live in Asaba. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on Game On, Tobi. It's an absolute pleasure having you on the show.